So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And we come to our final two speakers, who unusually are husband and wife. And the husband asserts that he did not take precedence over his wife. It's just the way it turns out. So, welcome Dr. Giancarlo Lucchetti. As you can see, he's a fellowship-trained geriatrician and assistant professor of medicine at the Federal University of Juiz de Fora in Brazil.
I was going to do, yeah.
Yes, Brazil, please. Thank you. And he received his PhD in neurology and neurosciences from Federal University of Sao Paulo. He's the author of several articles regarding spirituality and health in various indexed journals. He also works as a reviewer of international peer scientific journals. And he's going to give an interesting talk about the teaching of health education and spirituality at Brazilian Medical School. So please welcome Dr. Giancarlo Lucchetti.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be here in London. And you are going to see that my presentation will overlap a bit with the presentation from Dr. Minford. We share common interests, so I apologize for any overlapping. Okay. So I'm going to present the teaching of health education and spirituality at Brazilian medical schools. In a brief introduction, religion and spirituality have been connected to medicine for centuries. Hospitals and universities were based on religion tenets and grounded by religious temples or societies. So there is a long history about science and religion. Since the 60s, epidemiological studies started to show the influence of religiosity, spirituality, and health on patient health, both mental and physical health, and triggered the research on this subject. I will first define the items, religiosity, spirituality. There is no consensus about that, but I will show the most common definitions. So, religiosity is understood as the extension to which an individual believes, follows, and practices a religion. It can be organizational, church or temple attendance, or non-organizational, to pray, read books, etc. Spirituality is a broader concept. It is defined by a personal search for understanding final questions about life, about the meaning of life, the relationship to sacredness or transcendence, and that's the important item that may or may not lead to the development of religious practices or formation of religious communities. In other words, we can have a strongly spiritual person without having a religion. That's the main difference between the terms. Krystyna Puchalski, another very important researcher in this field, defined a broader concept of spirituality, aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or sacred. So we can see here a broader concept. And why should we talk about spirituality in medical practice? Well, there are 4 important points brought by Koenig in his book, Spirituality in Patient Care. The first one is religious beliefs and spiritual needs are common among patients, and many patients would like their doctors to address these issues. I will show some studies concerning these beliefs. The second one, religious beliefs influence medical decision making. The third one, there are a lot of research showing a relationship between spirituality and health. And supporting a patient's spirituality can enrich the patient-physician relationship. do patients want physicians to inquire about their spiritual or religious beliefs? I will bring some international studies, especially from the US, and then some Brazilian studies. So in this study, Annals of Family Medicine, 83% of almost 1,000 patients wanted physicians to ask about spiritual beliefs in at least some circumstances. Another study published in Archives of Internal Medicine, 94% of 200 patients agreed or strongly agreed that physicians should ask them whether they have spiritual or religious beliefs if they become gravely ill. In Brazil, we have carried out some studies and we found some similar results. For instance, in rehabilitation patients, when asked if doctors should inquire about the patient's faith and religion, more than 87% of our patients said yes. However, only 9 patients, it totals 8.7%, had ever been asked about religiosity or spiritual beliefs by their doctors. Geriatric outpatients, the same thing. When asked if doctors should inquire, 81.1% of Brazilian patients answered yes, and only 12.9% had ever been asked about religion or spirituality by their doctors. So we can see here a contrast between the physician and the patient. So generally speaking, the physician believes spirituality is important. There are several research showing that, but they do not address. On the other hand, the patient wants the physicians to ask about these issues in a general consultation. So what's going on? What's happening? There are some important barriers. We have already seen in the presentation of Dr. Minford, and we are going to see these barriers in the presentation of Dr. Alessandra Lucchetti. But briefly, there are some important barriers. For instance, lack of time, inadequate training for taking spiritual histories. They don't have the knowledge to take these histories. Some difficulties in identifying patients who want to discuss these issues. We found in a study in Brazil that lack of time is very important, but lack of knowledge and lack of training are one of the most important barriers for this addressing. And what's the scientific evidence about that? Well, this is the PubMed database, a very important database for articles, medical articles. We found 60,000 articles published concerning spirituality or religiosity in this database. So there is a lot of studies. And 6 articles are being published per day in the last year. So have been published in the last year. 6 articles per day. So it's a lot of articles that have been publishing in the last year. That's a graph showing the increase of publications in the last 15 years. And this is another database, that's Scopus, showing that this field of research is increasing in the last years. So we have a lot of studies, but sometimes it's difficult to give clinical implications for these studies. The countries in this field of research with the higher number of presentations, we can see here United States. The second one is United Kingdom. Brazil is here in the 8th position, and we can see that this field of research has a lot of countries that are investigating these studies. Basically, we can see evidence for quality of life. In other words, spiritual and religious beliefs are associated with better quality of life, lower rates of depression and faster remission of depression, anxiety, lower prevalence of anxiety, mortality. It seems that spirituality and religiosity was associated with more survival, treatment compliance, lower prevalence of substance abuse, better health behaviors, greater well-being and hope and optimism, and suicide rates, lower suicide rates. So the evidence points to a beneficial role of spirituality and religiosity in general. It seems that at least 90% of the articles point to positive roles. Of course, 10% could show negative roles as well. And how about in health education? I will focus here in medical education. That's my field of interest. But there are a lot of things in nursing education, psychology education, but I will try to focus on medical education. We can see that in 1993, 3 medical schools in the United States has courses dedicated to spirituality and health. In 2007, we can see 100 medical schools showing courses of spirituality and health. The last study published by Konigen in 2012 showed that more than 90% of US medical schools have at least some content on spirituality and health in the curriculum. So, it's a lot. Some very important US universities investigate this issue. You can see here the George Washington that has been already cited in the last presentation, Duke University, Indiana State, Minnesota. We have Harvard Trinity School from Harvard University. So a lot of important universities from the US have this content in the curriculum and investigate this type of issue. In the United Kingdom, the work from Dr. Minford and Neely found that 59%. She had already presented to us and showed that, okay, we have more than half of the medical schools with content, but this content is inconsistent. We have some good content and some not very good content in the curriculum. And is this a global reality? This is an article we have published in Journal of Religion and Health with Christina Puchalski. It has already been presented here in the last presentation. And what we found is that there is a lack of studies, sorry about that, a lack of studies in South America, in Africa, in Asia and in Australia, etc. Most of the studies were focused in the United States. It's 2010, okay? We are going to see that there is a change in the profile of publications in medical education. But at that time, we can see that no studies in South America, no studies in Africa, no studies in Asia. And in Brazil, what's going on in Brazil? This is a letter to the editor that we have published in 2010 in the journal Medical Education, giving a history of the field of spirituality and health in Brazil. So the first academic course about this issue started in 2002, so it's quite recent, in the University of Santa Cecília in Santos. However, only in 2006 did a medical school, in this case the University of Ceará, decided to address this issue within its curriculum. So, 2006. In 2010, we wrote at the journal Medical Education this statement. In addition to that, Brazilian journals that deal with medical education have never published articles about this topic. Some resistance to the introduction of these courses has arisen from the lack of Brazilian studies and various preconceptions about sectarianism and religious coercion. The scientific aspects of the relationship between spirituality and health still face great challenges, which must be overcome before the subject can be integrated within the curriculum of Brazilian universities. So it was a very pessimistic letter to the editor of medical education. I must recognize that. But the good news is that things have changed, especially in Brazil. This is a graph showing the increase of publications in spirituality and health in Brazil. We can see in the year of 2010 to the year of 2013 that almost doubled the number of studies concerning spirituality and health. In 2015, we are going to have in the Brazilian Congress of Medical Education, that's the most important congress concerning medical education of Latin America, we are going to have a panel, a round table, only about spirituality and health in the curriculum. We can see here, I am going to speak and two other members from other universities are going to speak about how to integrate, how to incorporate spirituality in medical education. Another good news, we are going to have in Brazil, in the Psychiatric Congress, Brazilian Congress, the first global meeting on spirituality and mental health. That's going to have Parliament in Brazil and other distinguished speakers, international speakers, and we are very excited about that. So, for the first time at the Brazilian Congress of Psychiatry, a special activity on spirituality and mental health, and we are going to participate, to take part in this activity. In 2015, we had the MedNest. MedNest is an international congress from the Brazilian Medical Spiritist Association that embraces researchers from spirituality and health. You can see here that almost 1,500 participants in this congress. So it was a forum to discuss these issues in Brazil. And now I'm going to present some of our studies. This is my university, that's the Federal University of Juiz de Fora. We have almost 20,000 students now in Juiz de Fora, and we have almost 2,000 medical students. So it's a very big university in Brazil. This is our medical school, some of the classes, the library, etc. And we have then some master degree students, PhD students, and of course medical students. We can see here the students that are volunteering in some projects that are helping us to perform some studies, and here our PhD and master degree students. So I'm going to present some of our studies in Brazil. The first one was published at BMC Medical Education in 2012. That was the Spirituality and Health in the Curricula of Medical Schools in Brazil. It's a paper very similar to the paper of Minford in 2008, published in Medical Education. We want to know how many medical schools have courses about spirituality and health in Brazil. So Brazil had at that time 180 medical schools. Now, unfortunately, we have more. We have almost 210 schools. Our results indicated that 10.4% of Brazilian medical schools have a dedicated spirituality and health courses. So only 10% have a structured course dealing with spirituality and health. However, 40% have course or content on spirituality and health. So we question if they have any content related to spirituality and health, and 40% of Brazilian medical schools told us, yes, we have some contact. It can be in a bioethic course, it can be in an anthropological course or something like that, but the students have some contact with this issue. Only 2 medical schools have spirituality and health courses that involves, in fact, hands-on training, practical training about spirituality and health. And 3 schools have courses that teach how to conduct, how to carry out a spiritual history. So we can see here that most are theoretical courses, not practical courses. That's something that's not very good, especially in this field. One interesting thing that we found here is that the majority of medical directors, it's almost 90%, believe that spirituality and religiosity and health is important to teach in their schools. So 90%, 9 out of 10 believes, oh, this is important stuff to be teach, our students should have this content. So although we have 90%, only 10% have courses dedicated to this issue. And how about medical teachers' opinions? We investigated medical teachers' opinions in Brazil, and we found some interesting results. This was a paper published in Medical Teacher, 2011. More than 72% of medical teachers believe that faith or spirituality can influence and positively influence the treatment of their patients. 3/4, 75%, believe that prayer could have effect in the patient's treatment. 62.3% want to address spirituality with patients. A half believe that it's important for a medical school to prepare students to this issue. Only 43.4% reported they feel prepared to address this issue. So they want, but they don't feel prepared. 27.8% have ever mentioned this issue in their classes. So they believe it's important, it's okay. I believe my students need to be taught about that, but I do not address it in my clinical practice. And 92.3% felt that Brazilian medical schools are not giving all required information in this field. Another study that we have published, Clinical Teacher, 2013, we can see here. It was 475 medical students and 44 medical teachers. The results showed medical students did not address spirituality as frequently as medical teachers, as we could expect. And that most participants did not feel prepared to address this issue and believe Brazilian medical schools are not giving all required information in this field. Nevertheless, they believe medical students should be prepared to discuss these issues. So, the same thing. I believe it's important, but I do not address. And how about the medical students' opinions? We would like to map the beliefs, the opinions of medical students in Brazil to see if they judge this is an interesting issue and if they judge it, this is important to be addressed in a medical school. So we carried out a study, it's called SBRAME. It was published in BMC Medical Education in 2013. So SBRAME is Spirituality and Brazilian Medical Education. It's a multi-center study involving 12 Brazilian medical schools. So these are the participants, the institutions that participated. That's our research team. We had a lot of researchers because it was a big study. And we evaluated a total of 3,630 medical students in Brazil. It was one of the biggest studies concerning medical education in Brazil, and one of the biggest studies in spirituality and medical education worldwide. So our response rate was 61%. And here are some opinions of our students. Of course, this is a brief report of the results. We have the paper show all the results. But basically, some questions. Does spirituality influence the health of patients? We can see here that 71% of students believe, oh yes, a lot. 24%, somewhat. And a little or no influence, 5%. So 95% believe it influences. Is this influence positive or negative? So 68% positive. Negative, 5%, both 25%, and 2% no influence at all. Do you want to address your patients' religious, spiritual issues? Yes, 58%. So the majority of students want to address these issues. Do you feel prepared to address it? We can see here a lot, 11%. So our students are not prepared to do that. And 41% somewhat. And almost half of our medical students said a little or no prepared. So I believe it's important, but I'm not prepared to address it. How relevant is the approach of spirituality for a doctor? We can see here a lot, 30%, somewhat, 45%, and a quarter, a little or not relevant. So in general, our students believe, our medical students believe it's important. Have you ever addressed patients' spiritual religious beliefs? Yes, 64%. How often do you ask spiritual religious beliefs with your patients? No, 36% I do not ask, and the rest, yes, I ask. Do patients feel uncomfortable when asked about spiritual or religious issues? We can see here, 34 I do not ask, almost half rarely, 2% often, and sometimes 15%. And which barriers discourage you to discuss religion, spirituality with your patients? We can see here that for physicians, when you ask that, you say that, usually they say, oh, I don't have much time to do that. As students, we can see that time is somewhat no problem. So we can see here, they are with fear of imposing religious beliefs. The second one, fear of offending the patients. The third one, lack of knowledge. And lack of time on the fourth position. We can see in these three positions that there is a lack of training, because if the student could have an appropriate training, he could have more knowledge, he would have more confidence to address this issue without imposing his personal beliefs. So we can see that lack of training is the main reason for these Brazilian students be afraid of ask and address these issues. This is another paper, it's in press, in Journal of Religion and Health, that we have carried out. It's a very interesting paper because it's a course we have carried out in Brazil, in the Federal University of Mato Grosso do Sul. And the title of the paper is Learning from Listening, Helping Healthcare Students to Understand Spiritual Assessment in Clinical Practice. It's an intervention. It's a pre-post test intervention. So we carried out a course, a practical and theoretical course. Here is the syllabus of the course. So we have, for instance, what is spirituality? Is it important to address spirituality with patients? How can we approach spirituality in clinical practice? When is it appropriate to address spirituality in clinical practice? What may result from the spiritual approach in clinical practice? Limits and barriers approaching spirituality, religious and spiritual coping, the FICA tool from Christina Puchalski, palliative care, and that goes on. And we have some practical activities with the chaplain of the hospital. So the students go with the chaplaincy service and see some patients, and they take spiritual histories at their own. So it's a blended course. It's practical and theoretical. What we found is that, first, did you feel comfortable asking questions related to spirituality? We can see when the medical student is trained to do that, we can see that he's very comfortable with that. That's not a taboo. So yes, completely comfortable, 60%. Yes, somewhat comfortable, 25%. I felt uncomfortable in the beginning, but more comfortable later during the assessment. 9.8%. And I felt uncomfortable during the assessment, 4.8%. So they are more comfortable addressing this issue. Do you think the patients appreciate the spiritual approach? Yes, 85%. And what's interesting is that when the student felt comfortable, I felt comfortable, it was okay, the addressing, it was correlated, it was associated with the patient liked the approach, the patient was honest with the students, the patient felt better, the patient was motivated, and the student felt better. And there was a better patient-physician relationship. So we can see here that a training in spirituality and health for medical students is very important for these students because they feel more comfortable and they have a better relationship, a medical relationship with their patients. So it's time to think about that, to think about our medical society, to think about our medical formation, to think about our medical schools. The previous presentation of Dr. Minford was very connected to my presentation because we are both in saying that's time to stop with this formation. We have persons that are only interested in mechanical facts and not in the spiritual side of the students, the psychological side of the psychological side of the patients. So it's time to think, it's time to rethink our medical education. This is a cartoon that I say, it's very interesting because it gives here 1808, so the patient is the focus. We can see here all physicians looking for the patient is the real focus of my care. And 200 years later, we can see here the technology, EKG, TC, CAT scans, etc. And the patient is a little bit sad here, unfortunately, and all doctors are looking for a machine. So, is this the way we would like the medicine? Is this the way we would like to practice medicine? So we need to think about that. We can see some consultations, 10-minute consultation. It's almost impossible to carry out a good consultation in 10 minutes. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true. That's true here in the United Kingdom, that's true in Brazil. We have 10 to 15 minutes of consultation. 5 minutes, worse. So it's very difficult. And then it's easier to ask for a CAT scan, an X-ray, an EKG, and don't listen to our patients. So that's quite serious what we are living today in medicine. So we have to think about it. Because the biological model that's here, the white cube, the biological model, all is biological. We are mechanics, a car, and we need to fix the car. It's changing to a broader model, that we can say here, bio, psycho, social, spiritual model. So each dimension of the patient is important. Each part of the patient is important. And the studies show that each dimension of the patient has the same influence of the biological dimension. So we need to address the whole patient. The holistic model is a true model. It's a model that we can treat the patient as a whole and not just as a mechanic. So in conclusion, although the implementation of spirituality in medical schools is happening in several countries, we see that in Brazil, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, in Latin America, in Asia, in Japan, there are several initiatives with implementation of spirituality and health courses. But there are still barriers to develop and teach courses in spirituality and health, as well as on integrate spirituality more fully in clinical practice. We see that most courses are theoretical. They do not provide to our medical students how to change their clinical practice. More studies are needed in order to evaluate the impact of these courses on the students' skill and behavior, and to implement tools which could enable students to provide an integrative and humanistic care. So it's time really to stop and to think what's going on with our medical care and with our medical schools. We see students beginning, and Dr. Andrew Powell said that in the morning, students beginning the medical formation with altruistic values, with compassion, with love. We see in the eyes of the students, and we can see that. And then in the last year of medical graduation, we see another student. It's unbelievable how our medical schools change the individual. They become frustrated, they become without love, without compassion. They want to leave, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. So what's going on that we are destroying our medical students, that we are destroying our medicine? I would like to dedicate this presentation to Marlene Nobre. Unfortunately, she is not with us anymore, but she was one of the persons that helped me a lot to be here and to work with spirituality and health. So I'd like to dedicate this lecture today to her. Thank you very much.
And now we come to our final talk today by Giancarlo's wife, Dr. Alessandra Lamas Granero Lucchetti. You can see her details are up there. She's a GP specialising in care of the elderly. So she's obviously got a new client in me now. Received her MBA from the Getulio Vargas Foundation. He was a former president of Brazil. And her MSc in psychiatry from the University of Sao Paulo. She's an assistant professor of medicine at the Federal University of Juiz de Fora in Brazil, where of course her husband also is, and research collaborator with the Brazilian Medical Spiritists Association, and the author of a number of articles regarding spirituality and health in index journals. And her talk is Treating the Soul in Clinical Practice. Dr. Alessandra.
Just testing.
Boa tarde a todos.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hoje eu vou ter a ajuda da Ana para me auxiliar na palestra.
Today I will have help with the translation of my talk
Meu inglês não é tão bom.
because my English is not so good.
Gostaria de agradecer aos organizadores do congresso pelo convite.
I would like to thank the organizers of the Congress for inviting me.
Eu vou falar um pouco hoje sobre a prática.
And I'm going to talk a little bit today about practice.
A gente viu nas palestras anteriores a importância da espiritualidade e da religiosidade.
We saw in the previous talks the importance of religiosity and spirituality.
E agora eu vou falar um pouquinho como que a gente aplica isso no nosso dia a dia, dentro do consultório.
And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can apply this in our daily practice in our consulting rooms.
Gostaria de fazer uma pergunta. Quem daqui da plateia é médico?
I'd just like to ask the people present, who of you here present are actually doctors?
Profissional de saúde?
Other allied health professionals?
Ótimo. Então, a palestra vai ajudar uma boa parte do nosso público.
So I think the talk will be helpful to a great part of the public.
Então, as dimensões espirituais e religiosas da cultura estão entre os fatos mais importantes que estruturam a experiência humana.
So the spiritual and religious dimensions of culture are amongst the most important factors that structure the human experience.
As crenças, os valores, o comportamento e os padrões de adoecimento.
So the beliefs, values, behavior and patterns of illness.
Então, quais são os objetivos da espiritualidade na prática médica ou do profissional de saúde?
So what are the objectives in spirituality in our daily practice?
Então, avaliar como as convicções espirituais dos pacientes interferem na sua saúde.
Is to see how the spiritual convictions of the patients interfere in their health.
Entender como é que essas convicções dos estudantes, dos médicos, podem também interferir no cuidado com o seu paciente.
And how also the ideas and beliefs of the doctors or the students can interfere in the health of their patients.
E desenvolver uma habilidade para tirar a história espiritual do nosso paciente.
And to develop an ability, a talent to take in a spiritual history.
Esse foi um artigo que nós fizemos, que nada mais é que um resumo.
This is an article that we wrote that is nothing more than a summary
de como o clínico pode abordar isso no seu cuidado com o paciente.
Addressing how the clinical practitioner can address this with their patient.
Tudo isso tem bem detalhado também no livro do Harold Koenig, que tem em inglês.
Of course, all this is carefully documented also in the book by Dr. Koenig.
Então, algumas barreiras já foram citadas, algumas eu vou detalhar um pouco mais.
So barriers, we've already spoken about some, but I'll speak in detail about a few more.
Então, eu não tenho tempo.
the one I don't have time.
Mas a gente sabe que perguntar sobre as crenças pessoais não demora muito tempo.
But we know that to ask about personal beliefs doesn't take a long time.
Se a gente aplicar o FICA,
If we apply the FICA,
que é um questionário simples para a gente tirar uma história espiritual,
which is a simple questionnaire which we can achieve some knowledge about the spiritual history.
ele tem uma duração média de 2 minutos.
It takes about 2 minutes in average to apply it.
Eu não sou espiritualizado,
I'm not spiritualized,
porém é importante, se a gente quer saber um pouco mais do nosso paciente, do que é importante para o nosso paciente,
however, if we want to know something a bit more about our patient, what's important for our patient,
é importante a gente aprender mais sobre isso e estar aberto a essas necessidades.
we need to be open and to learn more about these needs.
E se nós ouvirmos os nossos pacientes,
And if we listen to our patients,
o próprio paciente vai ensinar e mostrar no caminho, no que ele acredita,
the patients themselves will show us the road and what they believe,
e como essa crença, essa relação influencia na sua saúde.
and how this belief, what they believe in, how this affects their health.
Isso é muito pessoal, os pacientes podem se ofender.
This is very personal. Patients might become offended.
Mas a gente, dentro da história clínica, médica, a gente pergunta coisas até muito mais pessoais.
But when we've taken a medical history, we ask even more personal questions,
Como, por exemplo, sexualidade.
as for example, questions about sexuality.
E como foram mostradas nas pesquisas, nas palestras anteriores,
And as demonstrated in the previous papers and research,
a maioria dos pacientes gostariam que a espiritualidade, a religiosidade dele fosse abordada.
the majority of patients would like the issues of spirituality and their beliefs to be addressed.
Não fui treinado para isso.
I was not trained to do this.
Claro que não vai ser numa palestra de 40 minutos que vocês vão aprender, mas vai pelo menos dar um norte, uma ideia de como fazer.
Of course, you're not going to learn this in a lecture of 40 minutes, but I hope to give a flavor of how this can be done.
Mas é aquela coisa, como já falou, a prática é importante, então a prática leva à perfeição.
And as practice is important, to practice leads to perfection.
Se nós começarmos a levar isso para dentro dos nossos atendimentos, dos nossos consultórios, isso será muito mais fácil.
If we're able to start taking this into our consulting rooms and into our practice, it will become easier.
E existem vários livros e artigos que nos dão suporte de como fazer isso bem feito.
And there are several books and articles that will give us support to how to do this in a good way.
Mas será que são só pontos positivos?
But is it that there are only positive aspects?
Não, a gente sabe que existem aspectos negativos.
No, because of course there are also negative aspects.
É a minoria, cerca de 80% dos pacientes têm uma visão mais positiva da sua religiosidade.
But it's the majority, about 8%, have a positive aspect to their spirituality.
E em torno de 20% tem essa visão mais negativa da sua espiritualidade, da sua religiosidade.
And about 20% have this more negative perception or relation to their spirituality.
Então, algumas consequências.
So some consequences.
Um paciente religioso pode se sentir ofendido se a avaliação espiritual não for feita de uma forma séria.
So a person with a religious belief, patient, might feel offended if the assessment is carried out in an insensitive way.
A família pode se sentir ofendida se não for da mesma religião do paciente ou do médico.
So the family could also be offended if they are not of the same religion as the patient or the doctor.
E um paciente não religioso, ele pode começar a ficar preocupado.
And a patient that has no religion or spirituality might become worried.
Começar a levantar aquele sentimento de culpa de que ele não é religioso o suficiente, então por isso que ele tá acontecendo tudo isso com ele.
And start have feelings of guilt or feeling that he's not religious or spiritual enough and that this is why he's ill.
Levantar assuntos espirituais quando se constata uma doença grave
To raise spiritual issues when there is a serious disease
pode criar uma ansiedade no paciente se não for abordado de forma séria e delicada.
could cause anxiety in the patient if it's not treated in a delicate way.
Uma mensagem também não intencional pode ser passada para ele, que ele está perto da morte,
An unintentional message might be given to the patient saying that he's close to death,
que não há mais nada o que fazer, aumentando a ansiedade.
that there's nothing else to be done, that this could increase anxiety.
E aparecer assuntos espirituais no momento que o médico não está preparado.
And also like the spiritual subjects might raise or come up when the doctor feels unprepared for them.
Então, quando a gente pode fazer isso?
So when can we do this?
Este é o livro em inglês do Harry Conning,
This is a book in English by Harry Conning.
um excelente manual de como fazer isso na prática.
This is an excellent manual of how to do this in practice.
E a gente tem uma versão dele em português editada pela AME.
And we have a version in Portuguese issued, published by AMI.
Então, será que em todos os momentos que eu posso abordar a espiritualidade e religiosidade?
So I was just wondering if it's okay to address spirituality at any moment.
O paciente está entrando no centro cirúrgico, na maca.
So a patient is being rolled into surgery on a trolley,
Eu paro ele no meio do corredor e pergunto: o senhor acredita em Deus?
and I stop him in the corridor and ask, "Do you believe in God?"
Se fosse eu ficaria desesperada, levantaria da maca e ia embora.
If I was a patient, I'd be desperate. I'd jump off the trolley and run away.
Então, obviamente, a gente precisa de bom senso de em que momento fazer isso. Como eu disse antes, para a gente não aumentar a ansiedade do paciente.
So of course we need common sense of when is an appropriate time to address this so that we don't increase the patient's anxiety.
Na abordagem do paciente crônico,
When we're dealing with people who have chronic disease,
é extremamente importante, principalmente paciente idoso em final de vida,
it's very important, particularly in the elderly or those who are coming to the end of their life,
consultas de rotina,
in routine consultations.
Então, em que momento que é o ideal?
So which is the ideal moment?
Uma anamnese inicial,
When you take an initial history,
uma internação,
when they're taken into hospital,
consulta de retorno
or when they return a consultation,
e uma tomada de decisão médica que pode ser influenciada pelas crenças do paciente.
or the moment when there is a moment of taking a medical decision that might be affected by the beliefs of the patient.
Então, alguns pontos que são importantes:
So these are some important moments,
um tempo relativamente suficiente
and there's enough time, relatively,
e uma relação médico-paciente estável,
and the relationship is with a stable patient
ou profissional de saúde.
or with a health professional.
E como eu disse anteriormente, bom senso quando tem risco de vida e agravo.
And of course, to have common sense when there's a risk of life or of something getting worse.
Então, na história espiritual, a gente vai abordar as necessidades espirituais do paciente.
So in a spiritual history, we're going to write down the spiritual needs of the patient,
Encorajar e apoiar crenças ligadas à saúde,
to encourage and carry on with beliefs that are guided to good health.
necessidades mais complexas, a gente encaminha para o líder religioso.
More complex needs, we can guide the person towards their spiritual leaders.
E para pacientes não religiosos,
And for non-spiritual patients,
levantar qual é o significado de vida ou o propósito de vida,
to ask some questions about the meaning of life or what is the objectives in their life.
crenças culturais e recursos sociais para enfrentamento da sua doença.
So what are their cultural beliefs and their social networks of support to deal with their disease.
Então, para a gente integrar a espiritualidade efetivamente no cuidado do paciente,
So in order to integrate spirituality into the care of the patient,
o profissional de saúde precisa cultivar a sua própria espiritualidade,
the health professional needs to cultivate their own spirituality,
manter uma vigilância de consciência constante
to have vigilance on their conscience regularly,
compaixão e respeito pela crença do seu paciente.
To have compassion and to be caring about the belief of their patient.
Da história espiritual.
The spiritual history.
Importante a gente se familiarizar com a crença do paciente.
So we need to become familiar with the beliefs of the patient.
Vendo como é que ele usa a religião dele, a espiritualidade dele para lidar com a doença.
So to see in which ways he uses his beliefs, his spirituality or religiosity, in order how he uses that to cope with his illness.
Avaliar como essa crença pode interferir no seu tratamento.
And to see how those beliefs might interfere with the treatment.
Se existe uma comunidade de apoio para este paciente.
If there is a community that is supporting this patient.
E naqueles 20% que tem uma crença disfuncional.
And in those 20% that have a dysfunctional belief.
Tentar identificar essas necessidades espirituais que necessitam de um acompanhamento.
To try and identify the spiritual beliefs that need to have some follow-up.
Esse foi um artigo que nós fizemos comparando diversos instrumentos de história espiritual.
This is an article that we wrote comparing different types of spiritual history taking.
Então, como a doutora Milford exemplificou na palestra, a gente tem vários instrumentos diferentes.
So as Dr. Mimford said in her talk, we have different tools for taking the history.
Então, por exemplo, FICA, Spiritual History, Faith, Hope.
So, for example, the FICA, Spiritual History, Faith, Hope, etc.
Então, o FICA é de fé.
So, the FICA is about faith.
Ele foi criado pela Christina Pruhalski.
It was created by Christina Puchalski.
E as perguntas que norteiam o F
and the questions that surround the F
são basicamente:
basically,
você se considera religioso ou espiritualizado?
Do you consider yourself religious or spiritualized?
Você tem crenças espirituais ou religiosas que te ajudam a lidar com problemas?
Do you have spiritual or religious beliefs that help you to deal with problems?
Se o paciente é não religioso, o que te dá significado na vida?
And if the patient is non-religious, what things give meaning to your life?
O I é de importância ou influência.
So the I is for importance or influence.
As perguntas são: que importância você dá para a fé ou crenças religiosas em sua vida?
And the questions are, for example, what importance do you give faith or religious beliefs in your life?
E se você tem alguma crença específica que pode afetar decisões médicas ou o seu tratamento?
And if you have any particular belief that might influence your treatment or the way you deal with your disease.
O C de comunidade.
The C is for community.
Então, você faz parte de alguma comunidade religiosa, ela te dá suporte? Como?
You're part of a religious community, do they support you? In which way?
O A é de ação no tratamento.
A is for action in treatment.
Então, a gente aborda se como ele gostaria que o seu médico ou profissional da área da saúde
So in this way we ask how they would like their doctor or their health professional
considerasse essa questão religiosa, espiritual no seu tratamento.
How they would consider or take into consideration this spiritual or religious aspect in their treatment.
E se ele tem um líder religioso que ele pode indicar numa possibilidade de contato.
And if they have a spiritual leader that they might be able to contact if necessary.
Vale a pena lembrar.
It's useful to be reminded
que os instrumentos são apenas guias para a gente fazer a história espiritual.
That these tools are just guidance for spiritual history.
Eles podem ser usados ou não.
They can be used or not.
Do mesmo jeito, quando a gente faz a história clínica,
in the same way, when we take a clinical history,
a gente tem uma estrutura básica.
We have a basic structure.
Mas na prática clínica, cada vai adaptando a sua realidade como você gosta de fazer.
But in the reality of clinical practice, you go adapting it to the way that you prefer to work.
Eu vou trazer um caso clínico para vocês.
I'm going to bring you a clinical case
para ilustrar como a gente faz isso mesmo na prática.
To show you how we do this in practice.
fui apresentada, eu sou geriatra.
As when I was presented, you know, I'm a geriatric doctor.
E dentro da geriatria a gente faz o que a gente chama de avaliação geriátrica ampla.
In geriatrics, we have an assessment that we call it the wide geriatric assessment.
Dentro dessa avaliação, além daquela história clínica padrão,
And within this assessment, not only do we take the clinical basic information,
a gente acessa algumas outras escalas para ver a funcionalidade deste paciente.
we also carry out some other questioning to see how functional this patient is.
Então, aqui é o senhor JB,
So in this case, Mr. JB,
78 anos,
aged 78 years,
e a queixa dele era que ele não comia há meses.
and his complaint was that he was not eating for months.
O paciente vinha cursando com um certo grau de apatia há alguns meses, segundo a esposa.
And according to his wife, this patient had been presented with some months of apathy, presented with some apathy for some months.
De antecedentes pessoais, ele tinha basicamente uma hipertensão arterial
So in his previous history, he just had some hypertension
que estava controlada.
that was well controlled.
E de antecedentes familiares, ele não sabia referir,
And in family history, he had nothing to mention
porque ele era adotado, então ele não sabia a história dos pais biológicos dele.
and that was because he had been adopted and he didn't know the biological history of his birth parents.
Dentro das escalas que a gente aplica uma escala de depressão,
Within the scales and the tools we use a depression tool,
que é a escala de depressão geriátrica,
which is the geriatric depression tool,
e ele fez 1 em 15, que é normal.
and he got 1 in 15, which is normal.
A gente acessa a média cognição através do Mini-Mental,
We use the Mini-Mental to assess the cognitive well-being,
que deu 15 em 30, que para a escolaridade que ele tinha de acordo com a validade do Brasil, estava alterada.
and this came out to 15/30, that according to the scales as we use in Brazil, will show that this was not normal.
Em relação às atividades de vida diária,
And in the daily activity scale,
que nada mais é fazer ligação, ir até o mercado fazer uma compra,
like to be able to make a phone call or to go to the market to purchase something,
ele já tinha dependência de uma pessoa para ajudá-lo.
he was already dependent on somebody to help him.
Mas para as atividades básicas de vida diária,
But for the basic life activities,
então tomar banho, comer sozinho, ele ainda era independente.
such as eating by himself or having a bath by himself, he was still independent.
Então, de acordo com esse quadro clínico, outros exames complementares,
So according to this clinical figuration and other further tests,
outros rastreios cognitivos,
and other cognitive testing,
a gente chegou à conclusão de uma hipótese diagnóstica de provável doença de Alzheimer.
we came to a diagnosis of probable Alzheimer's disease.
Tirando a história espiritual deste paciente,
When we talked about the spiritual history of this patient,
esse paciente ele era testemunha de Jeová e se considerava muito religioso.
he revealed that he was a Jehovah's Witness and he considered himself to be very religious.
Em termos de importância,
In terms of importance,
sua religião era muito importante para ele
his religion was very important for him,
e ele achava que ela influenciava bastante em sua saúde.
and he thought that this influenced his health a lot.
Em relação à comunidade,
In regards to community,
era muito interessante porque eram os irmãos da igreja que o levavam na consulta.
it was quite interesting because it was his brothers from the church that would bring him to the consultation.
Então eu fazia a consulta com ele e a esposa de acompanhante.
So I would have the appointment with him and his wife that was accompanying him.
Terminada a consulta, eu tinha mais um na porta, desesperado para saber, e aí, como é que ele tá?
And when we opened the door, there would be one of the church members just waiting there asking, so how is he?
Afinal de contas, ele tinha faltado no emprego para levar o paciente no ficava solta.
because a brother from the church had missed work to take his friend on to the appointment.
E ação tratamento vou abordar mais para frente.
And the action I will talk about later.
Então, quais são os benefícios dessa abordagem com o nosso paciente?
So what are the benefits of having this, this approach with our patients?
Né? O que pode resultar?
What can the results be?
Melhor enfrentamento do paciente em relação à doença,
A better relationship of the patient with the disease,
melhor relação médico-paciente.
a better relationship between the patient and the doctor.
Se você tem uma melhor relação médico-paciente, você tem uma maior aderência ao tratamento.
If there is a better relationship between the doctor and the patient, there will be greater adherence to the treatment.
Maior aderência ao tratamento, obviamente, vou ter um curso melhor da doença e uma resposta ao tratamento melhor.
So if you have better adherence, you will have a better course for the disease and a better outcome.
E tudo isso traz uma realização profissional, uma realização pessoal muito grande.
And all this brings great fulfillment, professional fulfillment.
Você vê o seu paciente sendo tratado como um todo.
To see your patient be treated holistically.
E como ele se sente com este tratamento.
And also how the patient feels about this treatment.
Então, voltando ao caso,
So coming back to the case,
em relação ao enfrentamento do paciente, o paciente sabia da doença,
so regarding the patient dealing with the disease, he knew about the disease.
então quando eu fechei o diagnóstico de doença de Alzheimer,
So when I told him that the diagnosis was Alzheimer's,
no Brasil a gente tem uma cultura muito paternalista,
in Brazil we have a very paternalistic attitude.
que muitas vezes os cuidadores não querem que conte para o paciente realmente qual doença ele tem.
And quite often the carers don't want the doctors to tell the patient what their disease really is,
Com medo dele não aguentar, com medo da reação.
because they're afraid of the patient's reaction, they're afraid that they will not be able to deal with it.
Então, até diante disso, eu conversei primeiro com a esposa,
So because of that, I first spoke to his wife,
e ela falou assim, não, eu acho que ele tem que saber sobre a doença, eu acho que a senhora tem que saber, que tem que falar.
and so she agreed that her husband needed to know about the disease and that the doctor should tell him about it.
E eu conversei com ele, expliquei da doença,
So I spoke to him and I explained about the disease.
expliquei em que estágio, como seria a evolução,
I explained about what stage it was at and how it will evolve,
o tratamento, e ele lidou muito bem com tudo.
what the treatment would be, and he was able to deal with this very well.
Com o evoluir da doença,
As the disease progressed,
inicia as alterações comportamentais típicas da doença de Alzheimer.
there starts to be some behavioral changes which are typical of Alzheimer's.
E aí o paciente começou a achar que o remédio que ele estava tomando, o remédio que a esposa dava a ele,
And then the patient started to think that the medication his wife was giving him,
que ela estava tentando envenená-lo, que ele não ia tomar mais remédio.
that this was actually poison and that he would stop taking this medication.
Da primeira vez ela ficou desesperada, me ligou,
The first time the wife got desperate and she called me.
e agora ele não quer mais tomar o remédio, o que eu faço?
Now he doesn't want to take the medication anymore. What shall I do?
E aí ela virou para ele e falou assim, ó, acabei de falar com a doutora Alessandra, ela falou que é para o senhor tomar.
And then she told the husband, I've just spoken to Dr. Alessandra, and she said, you must take your medication.
E aí ele aceitou, tomou, simplesmente, sem reclamar.
And then he took the medicine without complaining.
E aí ela percebeu isso, o quanto a nossa relação médico-paciente era forte,
And then she realized how strong our doctor-patient relationship was.
e toda vez que ele tinha essa atitude, ela falava, ó, doutora Alessandra que mandou tomar. Aí ele parava, tomava o remédio direitinho.
And every time that he started to have this kind of behavior, she would say, it's Dr. Alessandra, she's the one who's telling you that you need to take this medicine. And then he would take it.
Então a gente vê que mesmo ele perdendo a memória, a relação médico-paciente era tão forte, eu ter entendido o caso dele,
And so you see that although he was losing his memory, our relationship, our patient-doctor relationship was so strong that he could relate to this,
que ele continuava obedecendo o tratamento e seguindo direitinho.
that he was able to carry on following the treatment as he should.
Com o curso da doença,
With the development of the disease,
ele foi piorando,
he got worse.
mas uma coisa muito interessante que a esposa dele fez,
So something very interesting that his wife did,
e depois eu fui auxiliando e incentivando, foi o controle
and I tried to help and work with this, and this was the control
da agitação, da agressividade através do acesso da sua religiosidade.
to try and control his aggression and his behavior through his religion.
Então, ele tinha sido um marido muito bom,
He had always been a very good husband.
nunca tinha brigado, tido discussões.
They never had arguments or fights.
Porém, nesse final, ele estava mais agressivo.
But now at the end, he was becoming more aggressive.
E aí, quando ele partia para enfrentá-la, para bater na esposa,
So when he was getting up to hit his wife or to strike her,
a esposa falava, mas você acha que Jeová ia gostar dessa atitude?
and she would reply to him saying, but do you think that Jehovah would like this attitude?
E nesse momento ele parava,
And at that moment he would stop,
largava o que ele tinha na mão
he would put down whatever he picked up,
e se acalmava.
and he would calm down.
O episódio da chave foi muito interessante.
There was a very interesting episode involving a key.
Em uma das consultas, a esposa chegou no consultório desesperada
In one of the appointments, the wife came very desperate to the consultation.
e ele quer a chave, ele está desesperado com a chave.
Because he wants the key, he's desperate to have the key,
E eu tenho medo de entregar o monte de chave para ele e ele fugir de casa.
but I'm afraid to give him the bundle of keys and for him to run away from home.
Falei, vamos fazer o seguinte, testa com outra chave, põe no mesmo chaveiro, pega uma chave que não é da porta de casa
So I said, okay, get the key ring and put another key on that's not the key to the door,
e vamos ver o que ele faz.
and let's see what he does with it.
Mas eu achei estranho, por que ele ia cismar com a chave?
So I was curious, why had he developed this obsession with the key?
E aí eu, apertando a esposa, perguntando,
So I asked the wife in many ways,
a esposa lembrou que ao longo de toda a vida dele,
and the wife remembered that all during their life,
quem abria e fechava o salão do reino, que é como eles chamam o templo,
the person that opened and closed the main hall of their temple, of the Jehovah's Witnesses,
era o paciente.
was the patient himself.
Então ele teve uma grande responsabilidade ao longo da vida toda.
So during his life, he had this very big responsibility.
E que naquele momento ele tinha perdido, ele tinha passado para alguém, mas não se lembrava.
And that now he had lost that responsibility. He had passed on to somebody else, but he couldn't remember it.
A esposa dele deu a chave para ele, uma chave qualquer, ele pegou a chave
So the wife gave him a key, any key,
e guardou no lugar que ele sempre guardou a chave do salão.
and he put it away in the same place where he always used to keep the key that he used to open the temple.
Um outro recurso foi para reabilitação cognitiva.
Another resource for cognitive rehabilitation.
Então o paciente ia no templo junto com a esposa,
So the patient would go to the temple with his wife.
tinha a palestra, tem outro nome que eles chamam que eu não me lembro agora.
Okay, they would have the talk, but I can't remember exactly, they have a special name for it.
E quando eles retornavam para casa, ela perguntava a ele o que ele tinha entendido.
And on the way back from the temple, the wife would ask him what had he understood about the talk
E o que tinha sido falado,
and what were the subjects of the talk,
ajudando na reabilitação cognitiva.
helping him in his cognitive rehabilitation.
Outro fato importante foi em relação ao estresse do cuidador.
Another important factor was regarding the stress, the carer's stress.
A esposa sempre foi muito dedicada e de repente ela começou a chegar mais ansiosa,
So the wife had always been very dedicated, and then suddenly she started becoming more anxious
mais agressiva.
and more aggressive.
Eu achei aquilo estranho, que não era o padrão normal dela.
And I thought this was strange because it wasn't her normal behavior.
E aí eu comecei a investigar o que estava acontecendo, o que ela tinha deixado de fazer para ter ficado daquele jeito.
So I started questioning her to see what had changed so that she had become in this way.
E aí eu não sei se vocês já repararam, já observaram, que eu vi aqui em Londres também tem.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, I have observed it here in London as well,
O Testemunho de Jeová tem o hábito de fazer a pregação.
that Jehovah's Witnesses, they have a habit of preaching.
E uma vez por semana ela fazia isso.
And once a week she would do this.
Com a piora dele, ela parou de fazer.
But as he got worse, she would stop doing this.
E na verdade isso era a grande válvula de escape dela.
But this was her great escape valve.
Então eu chamei a filha, conversei com a filha,
So I called the daughter and spoke to the daughter,
para que elas pudessem revezar entre elas, para que mantivessem a sua válvula de escape.
so that the daughter could give some release to the mother, so that the mother could then go and do the preaching that she had normally been used to do once a week.
São alguns trabalhos que mostram
So some of the studies that show
como a oração, a Bíblia podem ser alternativas para controle de paciente demenciado agitado.
so how prayers or the Bible can be alternatives for patients who have dementia.
Claro que tem que ser aquele paciente que vai encontrar ressonância no que você está fazendo.
So these need to be patients that, of course, you will find resonance in what you're doing.
Ou seja, ele era religioso ao longo da vida.
So we're talking about patients that were religious during all their life.
Então, acessar isso fica muito mais fácil.
So if we can access this, it makes it much easier.
E atividades religiosas e espirituais podem prevenir a agitação.
And spiritual and religious activities might reduce their agitation.
Um outro caso interessante do jardim,
Another interesting case is the one of the garden.
eu tinha uma paciente idosa, já cuidadora.
I had an elderly patient who was a carer.
Ela cuidava dos seus dois pais.
She used to care for both her parents.
E de repente, um faleceu, logo em seguida o outro faleceu também.
And then one of her parents passed away, and soon after the other one did as well.
O objetivo de vida dela por anos era cuidar dos pais.
So for years, her life objective had been to look after her parents.
E naquele momento ela tinha perdido o principal objetivo de vida dela.
And at that moment, she had lost the main purpose of her life.
Ela entrou numa profunda depressão
And she became severely depressed.
e mesmo com antidepressivo, medicação, associando medicações,
And even using antidepressants and medication,
ela respondia ainda muito mal.
she did respond very poorly.
Eu comecei a acessar a religiosidade, a espiritualidade dela,
So I started to explore her spirituality and religiosity.
e aí ela havia me dito que ela era espírita.
And then she told me that she was a spiritist.
E foi ótimo, pronto, resolveu.
So I said, excellent, it's all done.
Vamos voltar a frequentar o centro espírita.
You need to go back to the Spiritist Center.
Volta a leitura. Que outra coisa que você gosta de fazer?
So start reading again. And what else do you like?
E aí ela falou que ela tinha um jardim grande na casa dela,
And she said she had a large garden in her house,
que ela cuidava junto com o pai dela quando ela era vivo.
that she used to look after the garden with her father when he was alive.
Eu falei, então vamos fazer o seguinte, você retoma a sua religiosidade, volta para o centro
So I said, go back to the Spiritist Center, take on your religiosity again,
e começa a mexer no seu jardim, começa a cuidar do seu jardim.
and start looking after your garden.
E aí ela voltava na consulta, doutora, plantei plantinha tal.
And so she'd come back to the appointments and tell me about the different plants that she'd been putting down in the garden.
E aí eu perguntava, e aí, foi no centro?
And I would ask her, did you go to the Spiritist Center?
Não fui, mas o jardim está ficando lindo.
I said, no, I haven't been, but my garden is looking lovely.
E aí eu ia insistindo,
And I kept insisting,
de repente
and suddenly,
me veio a luz, eu estou acessando o lado errado.
I had inspiration. I say, I'm accessing the wrong side.
Ela faz A ligação com a transcendência, ela transcende através da natureza.
So she finds a connection, she can find transcendence
Através da ligação que ela tem daquele jardim com que ela tinha com o pai, com o sentimento e reconstruindo tudo aquilo.
So she can find this transcendence through nature, through tendering the garden and her connection with the garden and her father. And doing this is the way she could find it.
Aí eu mudei minha intervenção, investi mais no jardim.
So I changed my intervention and directed it towards the garden.
E essa aqui é uma foto do jardim dela, não foi, desculpa,
And this is a photo of her garden.
de uma flor camarão.
Oh, this is a flower that's, well, it's called the shrimp flower in Portuguese.
E que ela me deu para colocar nas palestras, porque ela sabia que eu dava palestra.
And she asked me to put it in my talks because she knew I would be talking about her.
Esse é outro caso interessante também,
This is also another interesting case
que ilustra a importância de a gente ouvir
that shows the importance of listening
e não ter o preconceito, investigar realmente o que acontece.
and not to have judgment and to really see what's going on.
Eu atendi uma outra senhora com depressão, evangélica,
I saw another lady who was suffering from depression, who was an evangelical religion.
com outras doenças cardiovasculares,
She also had also cardiovascular diseases,
e ela se negava a tomar medicação.
and she refused to take any medication.
E ela falava, não, Jesus vai me curar e eu não vou tomar remédio.
She would say, "No, Jesus will cure me. I don't need to take any medication."
E aí ela falou, eu falei, mas você frequenta a igreja? Não, frequento a igreja tal, Jesus vai me curar e eu não vou tomar nada.
And so I said, "Do you go to church?" Say, "Yeah, I go to such and church, and Jesus will cure me, will heal me, so I don't need to take anything."
E aí a filha estava junto, eu chamei a filha num canto,
So her daughter came with her, and I asked to speak to her daughter.
com muita delicadeza, eu perguntei, olha, você frequenta a mesma igreja que a sua mãe?
So I asked her delicately, "Do you go to the same church as your mother?"
Claro, doutora, vamos juntos, adoramos a igreja.
"Yes, doctor, we go together. We love our church."
E eu falei, por um acaso, alguma vez, o pastor falou que não era para tomar remédio?
And I said, "Did any time the pastor at any talk or something, did he ever say that you're not supposed to take medication?"
E aí a filha dela falou assim, não, doutora, jamais.
And the daughter said, "No, never."
Que, inclusive, ela só tinha conseguido convencer a mãe a passar comigo,
But including she had only managed to convince her mother to come to see me
porque, na verdade, o pastor convenceu ela que ela precisava passar no médico.
because the priest had told her that she needed to go and see the doctor.
E que o pastor era um psicólogo
And that this this pastor was a psychologist,
de formação
that he'd been to university,
e tinha visto que havia necessidade de intervenção medicamentosa.
and that he'd seen that there was a need for some treatment with medicines.
Eu falei, bom, esse vai ser o meu canal de ajuda.
So I said, "Okay, this is my channel to get some help."
Eu entrei em contato com o líder religioso, agradeci imensamente
So I contacted the religious leader and I thanked him
por ele ter encaminhado e que ele estava certo, ela precisava de medicação.
for him telling her to go and come and see me because it's true, she did need to take medication.
E que eu ia pedir ajuda para ele uma segunda vez, para ele me ajudar a convencer ela a tomar as medicações.
And that I was going to ask him to help me a second time to ask her to start taking her medication.
Ela começou a tomar as medicações corretamente
So then she started taking her medication correctly
e controlou as suas doenças crônicas.
and she was able to better control her chronic conditions.
Esses casos eu trago
I bring these cases
para mostrar a importância da gente abordar isso com o nosso paciente.
to show you about the importance of dealing with this with our patient.
Que se a gente realmente ouvir o nosso paciente, se colocar aberto a ele,
If we truly listen to our patient, if we are open to our patient,
ele vai mostrar o caminho para a gente, qual o melhor caminho a ser tomado.
the patient themselves will show us which is the best pathway to follow.
Mas precisa de uma abertura nossa.
But we need to be open to this.
Isso independe de religião.
And this is independent of religion.
Aquele paciente testemunha de Jeová,
So the patient that was a Jehovah's Witness,
ele sabia qual era a minha religião
he knew which my religion was,
e que não era a mesma que a dele,
and that it was not the same religion that he professed.
tanto ele quanto a família.
That's both him and his family.
Mas em nenhum momento eles tentaram me converter e eu fiz o contrário.
But at no moment did they try to convert me, neither did I try to do that to him.
Então esse respeito é muito importante.
So this respect is very important.
E o paciente sabe e percebe quando a gente quer ajudar ele.
And the patient knows and can perceive when we're trying to help them.
Mas ajudar mesmo, estar ao lado.
To really help, to be next to the patient.
Que você não é detentor de todos os conhecimentos,
For we're not the holder of all knowledge,
mas que você vai fazer de tudo para auxiliá-lo.
but that we are invested in doing everything we can to help them.
Eu acho que essa é a medicina
And I think that this is the type of medicine
que eu acredito,
in which I believe
que eu tenho que passar para os meus alunos
that I need to pass on to my students,
e que eu acho que a gente tem que levar isso para frente.
and I think that this is what we need to take forwards.
A gente tem uma boa quantidade aqui no auditório de profissionais de saúde
We have many health professionals in this auditorium,
e a gente pode levar isso para dentro dos nossos consultórios,
and we can take this into our consulting rooms,
mesmo em 10 minutos.
even in 10 minutes,
Infelizmente.
unfortunately.
Era isso que eu queria passar para vocês. Muito obrigada.
That was it. Thank you very much.